Oops. Good evening, Council. John Julius from Hyannis. In the rather recent past, you as a council have taken valuable land off the tax rolls. The old Chili's building used to bring in tax revenue for the town. That's no longer there because you turned it into open space. The old building across from Craigville Beach, you took that land off the tax rolls. I stand before you tonight because I see that you're about to embark on something here regarding a tax increment financing agreement, and I have a concern about this. I looked at it. I think there may be a mistake here in both the address and the map and parcel, but what's more troubling to me, we need some answers to some questions. How long is this agreement for? What's the percentage of the actual tax abatement there, if you will? How many jobs are we talking about here?
If I might, we're going to have a discussion on that matter, and you may get answers to all your questions. If you want to hold on.
I respectfully, I thank you for that, Fred.
Okay,
I do have another commitment here. I've got to get back to work, so I'll ask these questions, and hopefully we'll get some answers. Ram Construction is one of the people named here, along with Webb. This just appears to me almost like you're about to hand a blank check to somebody regarding this. Where do we go next? Mr. Bornstein, and certainly I highly am in favor of what he wants to do. He wants to bring jobs into the community, but the commercial properties in this town, we already know, are under-assessed as it is, and now you want to hand a blank check, and so what happens then? Mr. Bornstein comes to town and asks for a tax abatement, you know, so to me this is a blank check, and again, I'll just reiterate, what's the percentage? How long is this going to be in effect for? How many jobs will it create? Could someone clarify, you have Ram Construction here and Webb. Are both of those entities getting this benefit? And then where do we go next? Will homeowners come here and want benefits too? This is not a good idea, and I certainly hope you'll be unlike Washington. Maybe some of you had better go back and read this, Chapter 40, Section 59. Thank you.
Proximity to Home Depot. Have you folks found, because you were there prior to Home Depot at the end of Addicts Lane, did you find any impact in the negative towards your company with the advent of Home Depot?
Negative. No, actually, it's been positive.
It went the other way.
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Also, what do you contemplate? You may not know this now, but I'm interested in what may happen to the old facility. Is there any?
We already have potential buyers for the location. I mean, the square footage of that building, you know, it really is not. It's something that is not available all over. You know,
it's a good location.
It's a perfect location, and the square footage is tremendous.
So it would probably be a similar use, you would say?
Well, it won't be competition, but it would be.
Well, I would hope not.
But it definitely would be some people that would employ quite a few people.
So it'd be more quality jobs and the like. Very good. Last question that might not be answered best by you, as was well described briefly. In these TIFs, if somehow, you know, the worst case scenario question going forward, something happens, and somehow those 10 jobs, you know, we're in a very tough economy right now. Obviously, that's an understatement. With the tough economy that we're in, and just past history in Barnstable, if we could have a quick comment where I think it was Taqua or it was one of those other places over in Independence Park where we did a TIF. I remember when we first did it about 9 years ago when I was a new counselor, and then a few years later, several years later, something went wrong and they could not hold those jobs up anymore, and we had to revoke it. And so I'd like to have a quick little more detailed comment on that history of our effectiveness in being able to monitor and do the right thing per the taxpayer if something goes wrong, and going forward applicable to this project. If something happened, we you know, knock on wood, we hope obviously that would not be the case, but if it did, we'd want to be able to protect the taxpayer if something in the agreement is not upheld going forward.
to the rest of the town or through the other businesses, and so that we have to increase somebody's taxes in order to pay for the TIF.
Mr. President, Town Manager, and council members, to answer that quickly, I'll take a page from Mark Milne, which is this gets diluted in the general tax rate. In other words, it's a piece of the value, as the gentleman quite correctly said, what is added in value to that parcel is under this percentage increase over time.
So would it be accurate to say that the $37,000 over the next 20 years, the resident taxpayers will pay, or the business taxpayers will pay?
If you have a single rate, and we essentially have a single rate now, everybody pays it.
We promote from within our training. You know, all our employees are trained. I mean, we have continuous training. I mean, it's part of their education with us. I mean, we've promoted, you know, basically the entry level would be a warehouse or a truck driver, and from there we'll bring him into the inside, you know, to the work into the self-service area, and then to the counter, and then we bring him inside sales, and then eventually they go outside sales, and they can get into, you know, inventory position. I mean, there's tremendous amount of inventory position there, and also they get the education with the computers and everything. You know, everything's PC based today. I mean, you know, so everybody has to learn that facet of the business basically. And us being a big company, basically, you know, we being in the distribution, they really do learn, you know, how to use those computers, because they have to get material from another location. We ship it in, and then, you know, then we put it out on a truck, distribute it. So, yeah, definitely big, you know, lots of training.
There's one more question, if I'm not mistaken. There was some suggestion that there was a mistake as to the address and parcel number. I believe that was addressed, at least stated.
I'm guessing that the gentleman thought that this TIF was supposed to apply to the existing FW Webb location and not the new FW Webb location that's currently under review at the Cape Cod Commission and will be coming forward to the town.
Thank you for explaining that. And